We're establishing our personalities and
Yes.
our banter with each other by heckling each other on the intros and outros, And again,
Right.
mock me when it feels right. 'Cause
Well,
I'm
yeah,
gonna do the
no, I
same.
mean, you seem woefully unarmed for this battle.
For 40 years.
Take, I don't even know what take we're on now, but like 500, go.
Well, welcome everybody to the very first episode of Tupid Talk. For those of you who don't know us, it's a 40-year relationship, friendship, whatever you want to call it. We've known each other since we were about 8 or 9 years old, and we have such a history that we felt we should share that with you. And
Poor people.
along the lines of what we'll be talking about, it'll be anything from our favorite things like movies, board games, camping, the trouble Chris got me into.
Allegedly.
And the trouble he got me out of. So, it's fair, but we'll let you be the judge. So, just to give you a taste, you'll get an idea of what happened to us or happened to me as kids. This is very traumatic. You'll find out a lot of bad stuff that Chris put me through, and
I like to call them life lessons.
they were life lessons, all right. So why don't you be the judge and enjoy this first episode?
Hey, Stupid.
Stupid!
What's up?
What's up? So here we are, starting our first official episode
Yeah,
of
20
our
minutes.
podcast.
20 minutes late. Yeah.
Wow, and again, yep. See, told you they'd come in just as we started.
That's awesome. Yeah. See, if we'd been on time, we would have had 20 minutes.
Now, my excuse is I was giving you that extra 5 minutes because the last time I jumped in for our test session, you weren't even in the meeting. It said I was all by myself. So, well, this is going to be
not the last time. The last time you were watching a movie and told me, "Hey, can I call you back in 20 minutes?"
Right. So you still weren't ready.
I think I was. So in the beginning, there was Chris. As I put on the website and the draw in, for most people who don't already know us, the majority, I'm assuming, of who's watching now do know us, and we'll probably enjoy the bits and pieces of the beginning, but 40-year friendship plus, give or take. I remember being about 8. You probably were 9 since your birthday's before mine. I don't know.
It was definitely in the summer.
It was in the summer for sure, and I don't remember, a month or anything. I'm surprised I remember it was 8 years old. So, but yes, I remember the neighbor's yard before they built that apartment complex had just all grass, and there was a path that led up to it to the Pine Street where Jonathan lived, and went all the way up to Landry Park.
Yeah.
Pomeroy? No, Pomeroy's in Burlington. So anyway, Landry Park. And then, I remember that path like vividly. And I remember seeing you come down with your bike. And I can't remember if you had broken something and that's why you were walking it, if the chain had come off or something.
Chain had come off. It was an old banana seat bike. It was yellow. It's quite horrid. Big old handlebars like the choppers you see nowadays.
Yeah. Motorcycles, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
8 fingers.
But so the chain had come off. So I was walking it back to my house to steal my dad's tools and try to fix it.
Right. And I remember because I had recently gotten an Atari, and that was my point of conversation, was after introducing myself, which I found very interesting thinking about it back then, because I was a very shy person and didn't really, usually be that bold to go up and just talk to somebody I didn't know.
Well, and I don't think you fully understood the ramifications of your actions that day.
I certainly did not. If I had, I might have taken part. We're gonna let him keep going.
Yeah, it was odd though, because I remember I'm like, who's this kid? Just
Right.
because that's an unusual thing, I think, at that age for boys to do.
Yeah, no, right, in anything. I remember in grade school, I was painfully shy. I walked around with the teachers in grade school and
Yeah.
didn't really associate with my classmates. But that was like second grade. So what is that? Oh, I was 7. So the first time I was in second grade. But yeah. So yeah, I was right around that age, and I
Yep.
remember being painfully shy and walking around. So yeah, it was meant to be. We needed to meet, and you needed to get me in a lot of trouble, but we'll get there.
Trouble now. See, now that's where you're wrong. Now, come on.
You're right.
Most of the time, I don't get caught.
Most of the time, you almost got me in trouble. That's what it was.
Well, and it was perfect because you had the innocent face. So when you
Yes.
did get caught, it was like, oh, okay, go get out of here.
Yeah. No, it can't be you. You wouldn't associate with such criminal activity.
The riffraff.
The riffraff of Winooski. Yes. So yes, I remember. I had just gotten an Atari, and I put that out there, and you were like, "Oh my God, you got an Atari!" And you're like raced home to tell your mom you were going to go hang out with Jerry. And when they asked you who Jerry was, you're like, "Kid from school." So the first lie that you made me an accessory to.
Well, first off, by the letter, were you not a kid?
I was.
Secondly, were you not in school?
I was in school.
Yeah.
We just
So
didn't
you were a kid in school.
I
A
was.
different school does not matter. I did not say the same
In a
school. I
whole
said a kid
different
from
city.
school.
I was in Burlington. You were in Winooski.
Still a school.
It was. This is Chris logic, everyone. So you're going to learn a lot about this. This is good stuff. You should pay attention. And if there's little kids watching, don't write it down. This is not model activity. But yes, I do remember. Say again.
Yeah. So yeah, that was I remember thinking, wow, just out of nowhere. But I'm like, okay. And then you said you had the Atari 2600. I was like, man, that's a home video system. I gotta check this out.
Right. Yeah, 'cause I remember later you had was it a Nintendo?
I had an Intellivision.
Intellivision, yes. I had the Tron game that I loved.
Yes. That my dad took out 6 months before Christmas and played it every day and shoved it under the couch before we got home from school.
I forgot about that. That's a lot of things got. A lot of things got. A lot of things got shoved under the couch before your parents came home. Yeah, we'll get to that and maybe another. We can't give away all the details today.
Yeah, that's a whole separate one. But yeah, so that was actually the beginning of what has become obviously a lifelong friendship.
Yeah, absolutely. There's not many people that can say they've known somebody for 40 years. Some marriages don't even last that long.
There's a lot that don't.
Yeah. So.
And then it progressed, and actually I can keenly remember as a young kid, I had to always sleep over your house for a long time.
Yeah,
because your parents
you're gonna make
know
Twitch.
mine.
I totally forgot. Well, they didn't know yours, and I wasn't allowed to cross the street until I was like 12. It's lucky you lived on the same side of the street, so I could go to your house.
That's right. You could cross the street. My mom's like, "Go play in traffic."
Get out of the house. I'm done with you. Yeah. I'd forgotten that, honestly.
Yep. I remember because it was, I think it was a year. We knew each other a year before you were allowed to stay at my house.
Yes. And when? Yeah, probably. And I know I'm skipping way ahead, but because we were 13 when we went to Florida together, and that was when my parents came over to meet your parents for the first time.
Well, no, they had met, but that was when they. Okay, I guess that was when they like got down to like hang out and get to know each other.
Yeah,
Like 'cause they had talked on the phone, obviously,
Sure,
back and
of course.
forth, and
Where we
our
were.
moms had met.
Yes.
Because your mom, I remember, had come over a couple times, and my mom had went over. And
Usually
blah,
to
blah,
drive me home because it was the middle of the summer and it was like 9 o'clock at night and I
blah.
didn't know. Time
There
we
weren't well, not cell phones back then, and
No.
curfew was when you got home for some
Yeah.
of us.
Yeah. For the most part, I don't remember having a curfew. It might have been a school night or something, or,
Well, no,
because it wouldn't have been that late out.
but you, even in the summer, now didn't you stay in Burlington at your grandparents during the week?
No. Well,
No, not necessarily.
after school. Sorry. Yes. During while my parents were at work, I spent the days at my grandmother's house in Burlington because she lived right down the road from the school. So in the summer, it just made sense. I just stayed there, and
Until
then
you got older. Yeah.
well, my grandfather drove taxi, and we didn't have a car. Growing up, we didn't have a car. You had two. And
yeah, we're the Van Moors, yeah.
But no, we didn't have a car, so my grandfather would obviously come home from driving cab, pick me up from his house, and then go to pick up my mom and my dad and bring us home. And we did that for a number of years when I was young.
Yeah.
And then by the time boy, I don't even know what grade I was in, but I started taking the bus. I'd take the bus from Winooski to Burlington and then walk from downtown to St. Joseph's.
Yeah.
And that was my routine. And then I went back that way to head back home because I had Boy Scouts one of the nights and stuff like that. So that sometimes I would stay at my grandmother's that night, just go to school the next day. But
I think that's why you were to be home. Not early, but because you had to get up to go to your grandparents when you were younger.
Yeah, that's probably it. I don't remember a lot about I don't remember having to rush home. I mean, I vaguely remember having a time I needed to be home, and I usually was pretty good about it. I just remember that one time my mom was like, "Jerry, it's time to go home," and I'm like, "What time is it?" She's like, "It's 9 o'clock." I'm like, "Oops, gotta go."
Okay, gotta go. I was like, "That's it. I won't see him again."
Yeah. Punishment didn't fit the crime as usual. Yeah, speaking of the punishment not fitting the crime, I remember in our old house, the living room where we had the gaming system and stuff like that was one of the back bedrooms. Not where we had it later in years, which was our dining room, which was bigger. And I remember we were playing a game, and I don't remember watching TV or something like that, and we were drinking soda as kids do by the 2-liter, and you let out this enormous belch.
Yep.
And then you turned and looked at me and went, "Jerry!" My mom yelled from downstairs, "Jerry, say excuse yourself." Another
picture perfect.
If anybody's keeping track, there's another one where Chris got me in trouble.
But you got to do it seamlessly. It's got to be like right in cue. You can't wait too long.
It definitely worked.
So now that I think about it, actually, we did, especially in the wintertime, though, video games were like, we did a ton of video games.
Yeah, that was our go-to in board games.
I mean, you had that Texas Instruments TSR-80 or something?
The TSR-80.
Yeah.
My favorite game, the Dungeons of Daggerith.
Yep.
It's all white lines and tunnels, and it was advanced for what it was. I mean, you had to incant torches and rings and swords, and there were different levels. Pardon me. And you would advance only by defeating so many things. That was a crazy game. Big old 8-track type cartridge that you slid into the side of the thing. Yep.
But that, and then the 2600, and then we had in television, and I'm trying to think. I think I had.
You had a Franklin Ace computer. I remember that.
Yeah, we had. Well, yeah, it was a Franklin Ace, and then, but we had. Boy, I think I got the Nintendo. No, Genesis. I got the
Yeah,
Genesis for Christmas one year,
yeah.
which was the latest one. My cousins had ColecoVision.
And that's what I had later. I had a ColecoVision with a
Yep.
Genesis adapter, or vice versa, a Genesis with a Coleco adapter. I can't remember which, but I do remember having that. And
Yeah, I think you had the Coleco.
yeah, and yeah, we played a lot of games. And I remember my dad and Dick LaFave playing the Atari and just swearing at each other, or whatever game system we were playing.
Yeah.
Swearing at each other while they were playing the game, and we just sit back and laugh.
Yep. But yeah, so yeah, we did a lot of video games. We did a lot of in the summertime. We were always out playing Levo or hide and seek or Guardian.
Yeah, there were no there was no staying inside to play games all the time. We
No.
were outdoor folk. We played everything from flashlight tag to multi street games where we were was Levo the one where you had to avoid the car lights when they came?
No, that was we used to call that headlight tag.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, Levo was you just had two big teams and you had to capture all of them. But if one person got to the jail and said Levo, then everybody was allowed to break free. And they had to start all over again.
Yeah, I vaguely remember it. I don't think I played it a couple of times, but I do remember the name and playing up on Audette Street and
Shepherd.
Oh, yeah. Shepherd, yeah.
Yeah,
Shepherd,
the one right behind Mounts Bay.
Right, Mounts Bay, Shepherd, Pine. I don't remember going down any further than that, but
yeah, it was pretty much a street game. Every kid on the street played, but
yeah. So. Most of Winooski.
Yeah, the upper side.
Yeah.
But so yeah, through many adventures, vacations, run-ins with the law on occasion.
Yeah, one in particular always comes to mind. Do you want to tell it or should I? You tell it better.
Which one? Oh yes. The snowball incident.
Yes, incident.
So I'm trying to think. I know Jonathan was with us. It was me, you, Jonathan, and I want to say Jacob was with us.
Well,
Patterson.
Maybe. Yeah, because he lived up that way. So.
Oh no, Scott Sabrin. I think it was Scott that was with us.
Okay.
But anyway,
I only remember down on me, you, and Jonathan. Because Jonathan. For those of you who don't know the story, I'm pretty sure it was Chris's idea. we should make snowballs in this little corner street in Winooski, which was kind of set back. And what street was that? Where were we on?
Well, we're at basically the corner of St. Stephen's and Mallets Bay.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Okay. So we were hidden in the front lawn of that yellow house.
Yeah.
That we didn't know who lived there.
No. And we were making snowballs. Actually, Jonathan was making the snowballs, and we were chucking them for us, and we were chucking them at cars that were driving down past on Mounts Bay Ave. And then I don't think it was long into it, but I don't remember if we saw the cop car and you threw it.
Yeah, no, we knew it was a cop car.
And you threw it at, because I know I wouldn't have thrown it in a cop car.
That might have been me. It's hard to recollect at this point in time.
Jonathan claims in all of our times we told the story, he's never thrown a single snowball. He was just making them for us while we were throwing.
That night, I believe he was.
Was he?
Yeah, I think he was just making them for us to throw that night.
Yeah. That's what I mean. And then that cop car stopped dead in its tracks.
Oh, he squealed those brakes. and jumps out of the car and is looking around and is like, that's my cue.
Yep, so we were gone.
Jonathan took off.
We were gone. Jonathan stayed.
Oh, see, Scott was there.
Was he? See, I don't
Yeah,
remember
because
him.
me, Scott took off, and then you followed, but you had snow pants on. So running down to, and you got to remember, this is 9:30 at night. It's
Yeah,
blackout,
dark. Yeah.
completely dark, and all you can hear is.
As we
and,
were
me
running
and,
away.
and me and Scott started laughing. So we had circled. You caught up eventually.
Yep.
Jonathan didn't run because I remember we stopped and we saw Jonathan get taken into the cop car.
Yep.
Which is probably the first time he's ever been in a cop car.
Yeah.
And so we hightailed it up and around, and went. Oh, I forget. I can't even remember the name of the street. North Street.
Yep.
It went up by
North's up there.
Landry and then down. Now
Yep.
Scott lived off from Landry, so that's where he said
yeah.
goodbye and
Uh,
took off. And me and you went down and hid on top of McCormick's Hill, looking into
that's
Jonathan's
right.
driveway.
Yes.
And we saw the cop car in the driveway.
Yep.
So we just sat there and waited, and it was probably a good half hour. It's getting cold. But the cop finally left, so we said, let's go see what happened. And so we went and knocked on his door, and he comes to the door. He's like, you guys better get out of here. And his mom, Mrs. K, was like, who's out the door? He goes, oh, it's just Jerry and Chris. Not the boys you're with? No, not the boys I was with.
Yeah, we do have to give him credit. He didn't give us up.
No, he...
I think he did say Jerry, though. I think we found out later that he said Jerry.
Yes,
but
he used fake names for two of us, but not you. Oh, and then actually, you remember now. Okay, so we were walking home from Jonathan's after he was supposed to be grounded.
Yeah.
And we got him to go to my house to play games that night. Remember?
That's right.
And so, because it had to have been like a Friday or Saturday night. And so when we were walking down Pine Street from his house on the way to my house, the cop had circled back.
Yeah.
And came up and pulled in front of us. Like he's 5-0 and he comes like
screaming in
sideways. And I'm like, you can't box us in. We're on foot, dude. But he jumps out of the car and he comes running up. And I remember reading the riot act. Mm-hmm. And I was just laughing. He's like, you think this is funny? I was like, I don't even know what this is. I was like, we just heading to my house to play games.
Yeah, and this was Jerry.
But then, and I remember
shitting myself. My dad's gonna kill me.
But I remember he asked everybody's name, and he started with you.
Yep.
Well, Jonathan, he goes, yeah, I know who you are.
Yeah.
And you're like, Jerry Wood, and I live right there.
Yeah, I remember pointing.
And then he got to me, and I made up some name, Fred or Scott. No, I used Scott's name because he wasn't there. Scott.
I remember.
And he's like, you guys weren't throwing snowballs? No. So we're on our way to go play games. It's cold out here, man. So he's like, and he got all trying to be intimidated. He's like, well, I'm taking your names down. I was like, go ahead. Scott Sabrin, blah, blah. And off he went. He wasn't happy, but
no. That's one of that. When have we ever run into a cop and been happy after talking to you?
That's an excellent point. I'll have to think.
We'll get to Rich Benoit another time. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah, but that one wasn't my fault. That one totally wasn't on me.
It wasn't. You're right. But
I seemed to piss him off.
He did not think you were innocent.
I know. Take note. This is the time I was innocent.
Yes. Yeah, for the most part. You were an accessory because you were with them, but you didn't actually participate.
No, not in any way, shape, or form. Nope. But boy, he was trying to pin that on me so hard.
Yeah. Well, anyway, let's finish this one. So yeah, the cop took our names down and I think asked for our addresses, and I obviously gave mine up and never heard from him again after that. So
First
I know.
Mistake.
Yeah. Well, again, Jerry. Chris. People who watch this enough will realize Jerry was the good boy. Did what he was told. Innocent. Chris, not so much.
Let's not get carried away.
We'll let them decide.
But yeah, no, that was we're just out having fun. We didn't
Oh,
hurt
yeah.
nobody.
Yeah,
Although he could have slamming on his brakes like that, man.
he could have ran into it.
Dangerous.
He probably pretended to do that and slipped on ice.
Yep. But so yeah, we had many adventures. Most did not include the cops.
No. Because it could
No.
find us.
But yeah, no, so that's gosh, I'm trying other stuff. Oh, camping was a big thing. We did a lot
Oh
of
my
camping.
God, we did a lot of camping. And one in particular that I remember. Ranger Rick. That's a good one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was again, had it in for us.
He did. Innocent boys, father, your dad had given us some fireworks and let us go off and do what we wanted with them. And,
Yeah, but we were very smart about it.
we went to the
So we
water.
went down to the water and we
Yep.
lit them off heading over the water, which
Yep.
you're not gonna get much safer than that.
Exactly.
But again, Jerry not being the running type.
Never have been, never will.
This forest ranger, park ranger, we affectionately call Ranger Rick,
Ranger Rick.
probably about 80 years old,
He did seem like us.
started heading down to the beach and yelling at us because at this point I was still lighting him off. But I figured we had plenty of time at the rate he was going. So
you wanted to run. You were like, dude, we should run. And I'm like, no, it's fine. We don't need it. Because they didn't want to run.
Again, take note. This is where you should run.
Yes. I've learned that over the years.
But so he come down walking up to us, and Jerry, I remember talking with you after the fact, and you're like, "It's fine, we can have fireworks." I was like, "No, we cannot."
No, we can't.
Even now,
illegal.
it's still very limited on what you can. I think sparklers and
Oh yeah.
some colorful things, but back then you couldn't.
Well, back
have
then you couldn't get them in Vermont. You could get them in New Hampshire, but it was still legal to we were in Maine, I think. I don't remember what camping trip that was. Were we in Maine or New Hampshire?
I think New Hampshire.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, but my dad went and bought a shitload of them.
Yeah, because that might have been no, that wasn't when we went to Hampton. Got all sunburned.
No, that was you that got all sunburned.
Yeah, you got a little sunburned. I remember you. You were
a lobster.
I was. But anyway, Ranger Rick. Stop.
So yeah. So he come down and Jerry wouldn't run, and I couldn't leave him because we're in a campground, so they were gonna find me if they found him. So we waited, and he goes, "What's you boys doing?" I thought that was pretty obvious, but okay. Bottle rockets over the water.
Chance to lie. Never give us a chance to lie.
So he grabbed us up and confiscated the rest of the bottle rockets and proceeded to bring us back to our campsite. Walking along the road.
Yeah, trailing behind us.
Yes, behind us. So I'm thinking if we made a run for it, but again, in a campground, so you can't go too far. But my dad happened to be coming up. They were in the truck, and I think they were looking for us to get us for dinner time or lunch.
Probably. I remember them stopping, and we chatted with them.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Believe it or not, this is the funny part of the story.
So, the Ranger Rick goes up to the driver's side. And
well,
dad
first off, we explained to your dad what had happened.
Yeah.
He calmed us down. Well, no, it's important to the story for people who don't know it. We did explain who obviously gave us the fireworks. Okay, so
right.
So
he knew we had them.
His dad knew we had them and what we were doing with them. So we explained that Ranger Rick had caught us and wanted to talk to him. So we went off and went to the campground. It wasn't until when your mom and dad got back that they told us what the conversation had gone on. And you proceeded to explain your mom, I think, told the story because she said your dad was acting all shocked about how we had gotten these fireworks. And he's like, well, do you know what I caught your boys doing? And your dad was like, what? And they were lighting off fireworks. No. And your dad was just like, all straight faced.
No, they weren't. Well, you wait till I get back to that. No, now, sir, calm down. He says it's okay. No harm. No harm done here. He says, I just thought you should know. Wow. Damn it, he says, I'm going to take care of this. I think I know where they got him from. It must be his older brother. He says, and he's coming later tonight, so you can be sure I'll take care of that situation. And my mom turned her head and she's laughing.
Oh my God, she's looking out the window laughing because she can't look at him.
Oh, yeah. So they did. I do remember that. Yeah, they had sent us on to the campsite.
Yeah, and then Jeff did show up later that night.
Oh, yeah.
And we told him that he was in trouble.
Like, oh, man, you're done now.
He didn't know.
What are you talking about? I ain't got no damn fireworks. Well, Ranger Rick thinks you do.
Did he ask you when you came in if you had any fireworks on you?
Yeah. But no, so yeah, camping, video games.
And we still camp. We've been camping with your parents for all of our growing up, and then you got a camper probably when you came back to Vermont. I don't think you had one down in Maryland when you
we had a tent in Maryland when I lived there for a while, and then when we moved home, my parents got a new camper, so they gave us their old pop-up.
Yep.
So we used that pop-up.
That's right. I remember. Yeah, we used the old pop-up, and then you guys eventually upgraded and camp in Maine, New Hampshire, New York.
We've been down to Pennsylvania camping.
Yep.
So yeah, a little bit of everywhere, but
and pretty much the same thing. We play board games.
Yeah, that too.
The fire, eat, drink. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, that's where we perfected the art of burning things. Was that camp?
Yes, and not the food. You perfected that quite well.
But yeah, so that's basically, I think, been our friendship has just been doing, whether it's video games, camping, hanging out.
Yep.
Yeah, so I guess that's somewhat, I think, sums up.
Yeah.
So
that gives them a take for our past, at least.
Yeah, just you can't, go over 40 years, but you just kind of hit the highlights. And things to remember is Jerry never ran when he should have.
Things to take note, children. When Chris runs, you follow.
This is Chris signing off from Tupid Talk.
Tupid Talk with Jerry and Chris, and we'll talk to you later, Tupid.
Later.
So, thanks for those of you that joined us on our very first podcast. Interesting. There was lots of things we went over, little histories of this and that, and things that happened. But I think the key point to take away from all of it is I did not get Jerry into trouble. I would say that I did get him out of trouble. Not necessarily my fault that we got into trouble. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode as much as we did making it.
Let me get my boots up a little higher.
Things happen. I can't control that. But anyway, thank you all for watching, and we hope to see you on the next one.
Fair enough. I have nothing to combat that right now. As usual, I was not prepared.